Today you're going to be listening to a pre-recorded episode of The Riff, as some of you are going to be thinking, wait, they didn't even talk about the transition to Northwest for Jeremy in this episode. Well, we're going to get into all of that on the next episode. So thanks for listening today, and make sure to join us next week as we talk about Jeremy's transition to Northwestern University.
Welcome to another episode of The Riff. I am here with Justin Giggles Glenn right here.
Oh, I hate it when you call me that.
No, you do. You like it.
I do like it, actually.
Yeah.
I
Justin,
do.
great to
Be here.
So I was. Do you watch The Riff when it comes out?
No, I don't listen to it or watch it.
Why?
Because I have
it's good content.
Well, I have to mix it. So then I mix it down. So I kind of watch it / hear it that.
Yeah.
And then I also usually am doing it with you.
Yeah.
So I hear it that. Like a third just seems redundant and not needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I'm 50-50 on it. Right. Yeah.
On
because
watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've already heard it.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those guys that watches a movie a second time. But I watched this, and I hope those, and I know a lot of people just listen, but I hope those who are watching, they can experience the growth in my own life, because all I can see is my leg was just a bouncing.
Your leg?
My leg was bouncing. Now, I
My
took
leg
solace in the
bounces.
fact that your leg bounced too.
My leg bounces. That.
Yeah. So I was doing it. I was like, okay. Leanne says it makes her nervous when I do that, but it makes me calm. So then I'm having this really challenging tension of who do I want calm, me or her? And
I'd always go with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
fundamentally.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching today, count the bounces.
I'm holding them right now.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. I'm very conscious. We'll see when my subconscious kicks in or my conscious fades out. I don't know even which one it would be. But right now,
Okay.
So anyway, I'm learning. I don't want to do here's the deal. I don't want to do anything that distracts the gold mouth. It's a new commitment I have.
Same to you.
As we enter, should we tell everybody what we just talked about?
I would think that they already know. And I would think there's probably something planned for us, but we can bring it up anyways.
Okay. We're not sure if this is the first episode of year 5
Or
the last episode of year 4 because of leap years. I mean, it's not like we can't do the math.
it's so confusing.
209th episode right now.
This is 209.
So, Justin, congratulations. I've seen people receive things on YouTube. Have you seen that? They do YouTube typically of them receiving a package from YouTube, and it's like a plaque from BJS or something.
Yeah, from BJ's.
Yeah, and so they would unveil like X amount of listeners, watchers, viewers.
Okay.
Here's the deal. I don't know. This would, if it's been sent to the office, this would be the time, ladies and gentlemen.
This would be it.
Come on in with a cake.
With a cake.
From Nothing Bunt Cake.
All right, let's wait for it.
And the plaque from YouTube.
And there's the knock.
There's the knock.
I knocked on the table. That was me. That was
How many views do you think you need to get YouTube's attention?
100. I'm not great with stats. But
We're
that would
not.
be my guess. We're not there yet.
We're upper 80s.
We're
upper 80s. And it's not about the views.
It's also,
But it's not about
it's
them.
also the season, I know, of like when you hit that mark where sponsorships just start rolling in.
Yeah, they do.
Because they look at you as they're like, okay, they're here, they're here to stay, or maybe leave at this point. Because also year 5, like if a TV show goes 5 seasons, I'm like, what are you guys doing? You should have ended it.
You think of a TV show that had a really strong several year run and then went like just
Days of Our
jumped the
Lives. Days
shark.
of Our Lives.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Yeah. No, that's
No, but for real, Walking Dead. I don't know if you ever watched Walking Dead.
I've never had. That's the zombie one, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a zombie guy.
No, it's not.
However, the first couple seasons of Walking Dead are pretty legit.
what would make you a zombie guy then? If you would say you're not, because I got to be honest with you, I'm tempted to typecast you as a zombie guy.
Oh, I hope you don't. The story, great, and that's what people kept saying. Hey, I know you're not a zombie.
The zombie
guy.
story. The story of zombies.
You know what? Yeah, when you put it that way, it sounds like I'm a zombie guy.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get.
Okay.
But the story itself was really good.
Really?
Yeah, sans zombies. You didn't even need the zombie part, and I'd be fine.
So now, Walking Dead, would those be the zombies? Walking Dead?
Yeah.
So what would the story without zombies be? People not under attack?
I think it just
Walker. Isn't Walker?
Walker, Texas Ranger?
Yeah.
What about Walker?
Is that
There's no zombies in Walker.
There's none? I've never seen that one either.
Well, there's Chuck Norris.
That's
Yeah. Walker's a trip.
Would there be any zombies if Walker, Texas Ranger were in Walking Dead?
No,
he
he would
left.
take them all out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Conan O'Brien when he was like late night?
Not a big Conan fan.
Wow. He had a yellow stick at his desk that he would pull at random.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it.
And it would just show random Walker, Texas Ranger clips. Because they are unreal. Yeah. So what are we talking about? How'd we get here? Oh, season 5.
Yeah.
This is season 5. Yeah. So around season 4, season 5, Walking Dead just took a massive turn downward.
I feel like The Office did that for me. I was a big Office fan. I am a big Office fan. There's nights where I'm like, hey, let's just watch some episodes of The Office. And that's one where I will watch several
the
times.
beginning of it was super strong.
But once Michael Scott left, I'm like, why do they keep going?
I know.
So
this is season 5.
This is it. So congratulations. Here's what we want to know. If you've been listening since season 1 or have joined our journey and gone back and listened through most of it, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And Justin, how would we hear from them?
We don't really have anything set up. But I mean, we've tried a couple.
Some feedback, but we didn't like reading it. We did not like the feedback.
Anytime I get something negative, I block that out because I'm afraid of change.
Yeah.
And I love just being kind of blind to opposition. You know, I think that's the fastest way to grow.
Which I believe is a strong character trait. That's actually what we're going to talk about today.
We are talking about that.
So you kind of set it up on a tee there.
Well, this is the 5th season. I know what I'm doing. So
we can say riff, but we know each other enough. We know when to zig and when to zag. So here's the deal. I want to talk about conflict, poor behavior, these kind of things. I want to talk about it from the lens of the assumption is if I'm following Jesus, what role do we have in dealing with things that don't feel right, feel fair, what's our role? And it's this quote that I had read this week, and I like to take a picture of it. And so I was looking through my phone and just kind of thinking about it this morning. I wrote it down. I wrote down this quote. I know that's the riff, but I wrote this down. It says, "You were never match their behavior," talking about people who wrong us. "You were called to reflect his behavior." So talking about Jesus. So when we're in a situation that isn't fair, isn't just, isn't cool, it could be a big issue, could be a little issue. I just like kind of the rhythm of that saying is, we were never called to match the behavior around us that's bugging us, that's triggering us. We're called to reflect his behavior. That should be the new heart within us. And so with that, obviously, there's a lot of things to talk about conflict. So I think maybe it'd be helpful to just kind of frame it of what are the kind of things that are just part of life that we're always going to face that are frustrating, whether it's the kinds of people, the kind of situation, because there's a couple things. There's bad situations with good people and being messed up by bad people, right? So what are the types of conflict that you have?
I think if we're honest, like anything that includes another human is going to have conflicts.
Why?
Because they're not the same as you.
Okay.
Like just truth. So I think back, like when you say that, of like Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, incredible book, but he talks a lot about the trigger and the response.
Okay.
And one of his famous quotes is, "In between the trigger and the response, there's a gap." Okay. And that's where the power lies.
Okay.
Right? So like when you talk about the meek shall inherit the earth, It's this constrained, controlled strength that you have inside of a trigger and the response. And for a long time, I remember being very adverse to conflict because I had seen it in a very lashing out way, where it was trigger, instant response, trigger, response. And the way that I ended up, probably into college and kind of coming out of that was more of my response was duck down, don't say anything. I don't want this to blow up. And I didn't really understand the beauty of conflict. Because it's here. And then I went the opposite way. Oh yeah, I love conflict. Well, do I? I love what it produces or what it can produce healthily. So I think any situation that you're in, whether it be parenting, whether it be a marriage, whether it be at work, you're going to run into conflict. And conflict or good. There's no if we just look at it objectively, it is just two humans interacting in a way that humans interact. That doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's good. So I think what you bring up is pretty universal. Yeah. I think that everybody could probably be oh yeah, I've had conflict before, or I am in it currently. So yeah, how do you often, what's your initial response to conflict? What's your go-to?
Well, growing up, it sounds similar to how you described your natural response. I was peacemaker. Now that I know more about what a peacemaker is, I wouldn't describe myself as one who made peace. I would say I would be more of a peace faker. But that was my deal. I felt like my role, whether it be at home, if there was ever conflict, like there ever is how do I lighten it up? How do I develop even humor, because humor is a gift. And I think when it comes with conflict, humor can be a gift that allows you entrance into the conflict. I used my humor as a gift to exit the conflict, distract from the conflict, and get people's attention of getting guards down and going in. So I developed that. I had what I would, as a young guy, determine success in that. If people would feel like I'm a calming presence, I bring it down, and I started to make that my goal, is to de-escalate. I would say our first year of marriage would be a great example of realizing the strategy didn't work. If someone would have asked me after a year of marriage, how's marriage? I would say, it's amazing, because I haven't had to change a thing. I'm married, right? So sex is I still hang out with all my friends whenever I want to. This is great. And Leanne hadn't yet learned her voice of conflict, because we both were that light, keep it light. And so for her, when she finally felt confident enough to bring the conflict to this relationship, I didn't know. If you asked her how the first year of marriage went, it was terrible. It was nothing. I had everything I wanted in marriage, which is pretty low expectations that I had. Just it was all about some physical additions. For her, she had this sense of connection and and this sense of intimacy of the conversations in a life that, and so these expressed expectations became unmet expectations. And she would say she cried almost every day. Now I never saw it, because we both came into conflict saying the goal. And so then I had to learn, man, I did feel when she first brought it to me, thinking, man, you need some help, right? Because it's clearly not bothering me. It's clearly bothering you. And that was how off I was, how lonely she felt. And I had to learn that my avoidance of conflict is not my ability to solve conflict and keep the peace. It's my ability to be selfishly not let conflict disrupt me. And so when you say, man, two humans have to have conflict, Leanne and I could have never had conflict from that day on, and we would be the most shallow couple. But it's conflict that forces us to get outside of our own perspective and come up with a mutual perspective. So that's how, and we've talked about this in a message setting. at this morning is naturally, in a real simplistic view, and none of us are as simple as this, but naturally we tend to either think of conflict like a turtle, that a shark or an owl. A turtle would say, they go back into their shell. I deal with conflict by not dealing with yep. And that's how I was. A shark deals with conflict by I smell blood. I'm going to be the most powerful being, and just deals with conflict by just blowing up in the conflict. And an owl, they're known for just to be able to see from so many different perspectives. And the wise owl vibe of let me see, let me observe, let me learn, and deal with conflict. So sounds like you grew up in an environment where loud won, so you became the turtle.
Had a ton of sharks. I became a turtle, and then I saw a turtle didn't work.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I could do the shark thing. Well, I was like, oh, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
And there's something in between, right? There's that moment of in between the trigger and the response lies the power. So it's figuring out, what is that middle space? When I get triggered, what does my response look like? Because the response is literally just, honestly, it's an automatic piece that happens.
Yeah.
It's a habit. So you're just trying to get yourself out of that space, become self-aware of what is this trigger doing to me? And you gave, one of my favorite messages you've ever given is when you had the jars of beads that were blue and pink.
Yeah, boy and girl.
You smashed them together. Service, which is just a bummer. But this whole idea, and you also did it with a cup of water of oh man, she's making me so mad. It's the same idea of this trigger and the response of no, the water's already in you. The anger's already there. She's not making you mad. He's not making you mad.
Yeah.
There's something inside of you that is already angry. Response and figuring out what that is inside of you is the power. So still one of my favorite messages you've given, and one of the only times that I've ever seen you not know what to do.
When they broke.
Oh yeah, because your illustration was done. It was gone.
No coming back from that one.
But it's the owl. So how do you? I know you said I was the turtle.
Yes.
So how did you move out of that? How do you become aware enough of what happens within that? And you talk about reflecting others or reflecting Jesus. How do you yourself out of those spaces? Because usually when I've been in conflict, it hasn't been this slow process where I'm able to think and I'm okay, let me breathe.
All right.
It usually feels fast. It usually feels in the moment. It usually feels. So how do you get yourself out of that? How have you done that?
Well, when you say reflect Jesus, I think if we look at the fullness of Scripture on there's times he's flipping tables and times he's filling tables. He's inviting people to the table, right?
That's a chapter in a book right there.
I've got a total one chapter.
Chapter one.
But you think about that there's times where he looks like a shark, and there's times that he's this all-inclusive, you have a spot at my table. And you're is it based on his mood? No, it's based on his mission. And so
chapter 2. Come on, are you joking me right now?
I hope maybe we'll ChatGPT make this a book and find us a publisher. So, but here's the deal: is in this, I've been aware that, especially looking at the Enneagram several years ago, learning that tool, which actually a window into my own soul, is I realize a red flag for me is when I go back to turtle. So I say optimistically, I used to be the turtle. What's a more accurate way for me to say it is I used to always present as a turtle when there were introduced to me. Now, I would say I still would probably naturally trigger that way. And when I'm expressing as a turtle and trying to just make peace when I know that's not the answer, it's a sign of I'm stressed. And that seems to be a quick win where I can control the situation, keep everyone healthy. And so I've learned that, okay, and so I'll still do that. So for me, sometimes I don't recognize the stress, but I recognize my response in conflict. I'm rarely am I shark. And I have been, but rarely do I just go explode on somebody and be hey man, I'm so sorry. I was a jerk to you. Usually my dysfunction comes from the other way. So how do I do it now? I think a couple of things. One is you keep it, in conflict. I try to approach conflict. I think I've learned to approach conflict more naturally as curious. Like, okay, oh, you see it differently. Whether it's a staff situation, a strategy, like where do we go from here? If I see it differently than you, I would hope I'm not like jumping all over you. Like, when are you going to figure out how I see it? And hopefully I wouldn't be like, yeah, whatever you think, man. Like, hopefully I'd be like, really? Like, you think, like, why do you say that? You enough to know, hey, you're seeing something that I don't see. I want to see it. Respect me enough to know I also bring some leadership to this team, or to the situation. So I'm not punting my perspective because someone disagrees with me. Yeah. So like, keep it respectful, keep it real, or keep it relevant, right? Those are a few things real quick, just to say, hey, am I dealing with the situation? Is it relevant? Is it respectful? If I'm not doing those things, then I'm probably not being curious. So I've got to really focus on that. It's interesting in the church setting. I come from, save one church experience that I had on staff, most of my church experience, they tend to be turtles, even on staff. It was like we would have like a staff meeting, and go around and talk about, it would be a Monday meeting. And we'd go around, all of us, and talk about yesterday and, hey, what did you observe? And it would just be like hey, I thought Pastor Perry did a great job at this song. I really do that transition. Mufasa, say it again. That was great. And it'd be like, thank you, Pastor. I really appreciate one thing about Pastor Jeremy. And it was like this, it was this turtle environment. Great people. Conflict was so abnormal. When I came to North Point, I realized quickly that was not your team dynamic for the years preceding me. What was that like? Like, it was a Shark Tank.
100%. Which is also why it wasn't shocking coming in to working for North Point from outside of a church.
Because you worked in a very loud environment, rigging, right? Production.
Yeah,
time constraints,
that world
safety constraints
is just a bunch of sharks.
Yeah,
right. Coming into North Point, it wasn't a change up. There wasn't like all right, that's pretty normal. This is and we yell at one another. Yep, check. Like, we get mad because we want to get this done. It's not like this, but
it's the right mission that's creating it. But I would say it's an unhealthy response
for sure. Came in. And the whole culture started to change. And as we hired people, it was interesting to see, the past decade has just been very fascinating to watch the process of a team developing, right? Which would be the same thing as a marriage developing.
Yes.
Would be the same. It's just
parenting.
It's so crazy to see how organizations and parenting, it's all cyclical and it's all the same.
It's health.
It's health.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. So it's just fascinating to watch as we started to bring people in, especially from maybe different church culture or different spaces within a church, how that came with them, where it was very mentality. Right. So there, you can just see like an ebb and flow as North Point as a team has gone from this like shark mentality to really a turtle, back into kind of shark moments, back into it just kind of morphs and merges and hopefully gets to what you're talking about, which is that owl mentality of, we're going to be kind. We're going to be clear, but we're going to be thoughtful. Like, it's this whole idea of this paradoxical left and right, A and B. There is a virtuous mean of finding that middle of, we can be direct. I can tell you exactly what's wrong, but I also want to do it in a way on your team, that we're on the same team, that we respect one another, that we're going to smile after this, right? Yes. Like, we're here to get a job done. Absolutely. But we're also going to do it in a way that you're like, I want to do that job again.
Well, I think of it like if we're scientists, and the goal is to launch this rocket into space, agreement would not be the number one goal. Success would be the number one goal.
Yeah.
So you got to disagree at that table, but you also are realizing you're surrounded by a bunch of people who know what they're talking about and share a different perspective. If we disagree, when we get to the launch pad, I'm not hoping we prove that you were wrong. That'd be terrible. And
Told you it wouldn't work.
And so sometimes like the legends of old school North Point, or the legends of, I've been in a church, Eastlake in Seattle, where there were times loud and brash. It's so different in the church world. I don't think it's healthy, but it gets a worse rap than it should, because I think turtle mentality should also get a bad rap. For sure. Of like, we're not dealing with real issues because we want the illusion of politeness. And so when we can come in and be candid, right? Respectful and direct, like you're talking about, that anybody has a voice. Everybody has a responsibility to share that voice, and an expectation to share it in a way that's respectful. Mm-hmm. And we say it this way: is mission first, people always. The mission is to get this. The mission is to create a safe place for people to find and follow Jesus. Here's a real practical example, just pulling from this week. It could be a social media post, right? That we're like, okay, and we're looking at it internally, and it might be like, hey, someone spent time on this post, whether it was a staffer who's preparing it, and then the creative team is now positioned. Maybe the creative team prepared it, whatever it might be. We've got different, it didn't happen on accident, and it didn't happen in a silo. So we know real people who loved the mission, created something, and we see this, and before it's released, we all have that deal of like, oh, hey, I see something here where this isn't the best way to position. And we have to, now the tension could be like, oh, I don't want to be the jerk that says, let's rework it another time, because I know that's people's time. I also don't want to be the jerk who says, that sucks. Why don't you guys get that, right? Because I don't want them doing that to me on Saturday night after my, right? Because it's the same thing, whether it's a post, whether it's how I'm communicating on a Saturday, or a billion other roles that happen through the week between all of our team. Everybody has a voice to speak to the mission and an expectation to do it in a way.
And I think you can say that because of how you lead it. So a lot of people don't know this, but on every Saturday night, you invite people into a space.
Well, I think we did an episode about the blouse that exposed this, because even my dress is on parade.
But it's a space that literally you have created that is like, I actually, one of my favorite things to do is Saturday night, sit down and walk through that, just because it's such a fun environment to really like take an art craft that I would not be great at creating the art, but I love getting to be able to like speak into it. It's so fun. And you have opened it up to that I've crafted. This is the sermon that I put together. This is what I'm trying to do. Tear it apart. What's wrong with it? What doesn't make sense? Yeah. And then even further than that, you actually listen. So that's the big part, right? Like, and I don't walk away being like, I hope he used all of my ideas, right? Yeah, well, I kind of do. Yeah. But it's fun to see like out of we're in there, you've taken 3-4 things and changed this and moved this. And it allows us as a team to then walk into spaces like you're talking with, of like a social post, and be confident in like, hey, this isn't personal. It's not a personal element. We're mission first. Like, we're trying to get this accomplished. Into the Unknown. It is on the making of Frozen 2. And it is...
How have I missed this?
It is so good.
Into the Unknown.
Into the Unknown. It's on Disney Plus. Me and the girls watched it. I actually made them finish it because I'm like, we're watching all of this. This is so fun.
They just do it for dad.
They just do it for dad. So they had the same type of deal to where all of these all these different scenes, which is just crazy to see the process. Like, I never even understood the scope of this thing. But one animator will literally work on probably a 7-second scene for a year.
Wow.
And then they go to this whole thing. They have these like brain trust meetings. Like, it's just incredible, the collaboration that they're able to do. And then they have this scene, like season, whatever, it's one season, but like episode 4, where this animator gets the entire thing cut. So after one of the brain trust meetings, they do a viewing, a screening, and they're like, it doesn't work. It does not work. And it's not because his work didn't work. It's not because he's bad at his job. It's because it didn't fit the story to tell as a whole. And they had created this culture to where he understood that. And one of the lines that he says is like, but I get it. It's part of the whole story. So it's just the role I play. Like, that's how we do this here. So with a social post, my hope would be like, that person's not walking away thinking they didn't like my work. work. It actually was good. It actually is great work.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the mission or the story that we're trying to tell at this time. It might work later. It might work somewhere else, right? So that, like, for me, that kind of collaboration is not this like micromanagement of like, I don't like this, I like that. It's the that you actually provide on Saturday nights specifically that says, I'm going to lead this. I'm going to put this together. But what do you think?
Yeah.
Like, what am I not seeing here? And it's that type of posture that I think allows conflict to be helpful. Because I think also a lot of people are afraid of conflict because they've just seen the restorative way. So if you are coming from a background that is traumatic, like
flinching,
I get it. Like if it was abusive or if it was like conflict can be a very scary thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I get that part, but I just would hope that we see conflict as a gift. And it's been abused a lot.
Yeah. I would say one of the things that I really enjoyed recently is we had, in my opinion, and I think it was fairly shared or widely shared throughout the staff, it was one of the best Kid Point camps we've had, kids camps from our Kid Point teams. And all throughout the execution, the planning, all of that. It was just great. And one of the things I really enjoyed is while they all probably understood this was the best, based on all of our metrics, they also instantly went into this wrong, what was missing, what was confusing, and it was helpful. And that's a great deal, Also, one more thing I want to say about our Saturday nights. Those who are listening might not know this. I don't know that I've said this, and I'm nervous saying this publicly.
Well, it's season 5, so you can do whatever you want. It might be season 5.
Perhaps the most influential voice in that room Saturday is Justin, your takes to help guard the theological mission. I appreciate it. Some might not know that about you, but you're one of the most read guys that I know. You got like a But I always like it when you share something because often you share a thought that I'm like, I did not think through it that lens, that is a great way to share it. So I appreciate it. So if you're a Saturday night person, you might be missing out on some Justin zingers. Yeah, just saying.
And
so
they are some zingers.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Zingers.
Keep them coming.
So, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if you're just kind of taking this, and hopefully this is a great look behind the scenes of culture creation, right? Here at North Point, which is one of the reasons I think would be helpful is if you translate that to your own situation too. Are you more like a turtle? Are you more like a shark? How do you approach conflict? What was your background growing up of conflict? How has that shaped you? And probably even more importantly, how do you want the next layer, the next generation kids or the people you work with, how do you want them to be trained with conflict? So start by today by, keeping it real, keeping it relevant, keeping it respectful, and leaning into it. Be curious. So conflict.
Hoot, hoot.
Into the unknown.
Yeah, hoot, hoot. That's what I'm going to call this one.
Hoot, hoot.
Yeah, like an owl. Yeah. No, I know. That was sticky.
I have some other sticky ideas. There's so many things.
Into the unknown. You're going to watch it, right?
I feel like I don't even need to.
It's only like 6 episodes.
What's that book we read about Pixar and the background of that? I forget.
Creativity Inc.
Creativity Inc.
Ed Catmull.
Yes. We were a cohort, and we were assigned to read this book, and it's a fickle book. It's meaty too. Like you got to really, and then we get to the cohort and they never once even brought it up.
They did that every time. It was 4 things and 4 books, and they never talked about the book. And
but it was a good book.
It's the story of Pixar, which is great.
Yeah.
Frozen isn't Pixar though.
No, Disney.
People know that. It's Disney Animation, but Disney owns Pixar. It's all the same. Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I should know it.
Same ecosystem.
Janae is going to be disappointed that I didn't know that.
I hope she doesn't listen to that part.
She doesn't. She doesn't listen to any part.
Okay, all right.
So, don't tell her. All right, you all. Have a great week, and we'll come back at you. Dive into the very first or second week of Season 5.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.